Mango. Most people treat mango like it's just a sweet fruit. It's 4,000 years old. People in India were farming it before the Roman Empire existed. And here's something genuinely strange. Scientists think the mango originally depended on large extinct animals to eat it whole and spread the seeds. When those animals disappeared, the mango needed humans to survive. And humans showed up. Arab and Persian traders carried it to East Africa in the 9th and 10th centuries. The Portuguese took it from Goa to Brazil. By the 1740s, it was in the West Indies. By the 1830s, Florida had it. One fruit, a few thousand years, every corner of the world. There are two separate mango lineages that split a long time ago. The Indian group, where each seed produces one plant, and the Southeast Asian group, where one seed can sprout several plants. That difference determines how farmers breed them, and it's why you see such dramatic variation between varieties. Take flavor. The Alfonso from India is intensely sweet. There's almost a saffron note in it. It's widely considered the best mango in the world for eating. The Tommy Atkins, which makes up 74% of US imports, is milder and fibrous, but it survives the shipping conditions an Alfonso can't. The Ataulfo from Mexico is buttery, no fiber at all, which is why it holds 24% of the US fresh market on its own. The trade-off is always flavor versus durability. The most delicious varieties are often the hardest to ship. There are real threats. A fungal disease called anthracnose hits mango flowers during humid tropical springs before the fruit can set. Fruit flies are a constant export problem. Many importing countries require hot water treatment before entry, which can affect quality. Climate change is disrupting the dry season mango trees need to flower, leading to biennial bearing. Heavy crop one year, almost nothing the next. India grows about 15 million tons annually. That's over half the global total. Mexico is the top exporter to the US. Peru supplies during off-seasons to keep the shelf stocked year-round. On the health side, a 2025 study found that 3 ounces of mango per day for 3 months reduced facial wrinkles in postmenopausal women. Research planned for 2026 is testing whether mango polyphenols can reverse prediabetes by improving insulin sensitivity. Pineapple. The pineapple is not one fruit. It's dozens of individual berries that fuse together. Each hexagonal section on the outside was its own flower. That's why the texture inside varies slightly from section to section. You're eating a cluster of fruits that decided to act like one. The Guarani people of South America called it nana, meaning excellent fruit. They spread it across the Caribbean before Europeans arrived. Columbus encountered it in 1493. He brought it back to Europe and it became a status symbol almost immediately. Aristocrats built heated greenhouses called pineries just to grow them. You could rent a pineapple for an evening to carry to a party as a show of wealth. That's a real thing that happened. Today, the market standard is a variety called MD2 or Gold. Sweet, low acid, golden flesh, consistent. A newer one called Honeyglow is growing fast. Ultra sweet, minimal acidity, very aromatic. It accounted for 18% of new plantings in 2024. The old workhorse variety, Smooth Cayenne, is mostly used for canning now. The enzyme bromelain found throughout the pineapple is getting genuine medical attention. Studies in 2024 and 2025 found that it can trigger programmed cell death in gastric cancer and melanoma cells by blocking a specific signaling pathway. Separate clinical trials showed it speeds recovery after certain ankle surgeries when combined with vitamin C. These are peer-reviewed findings, not marketing claims. Costa Rica supplies 53% of the US fresh pineapple market. The monoculture farming there has caused real environmental damage, soil erosion, heavy pesticide use, runoff affecting local livestock. The industry is aware. Change is slow. One thing commercial growers actively prevent is pollination. If a pineapple gets fertilized, it grows hard seeds that ruin the texture, so growers take steps to stop it. Papaya. Papaya is not technically a tree. It's a giant herbaceous plant, structurally closer to a large weed than anything you'd call a tree, and it grows fast. Plant one and you can be harvesting fruit within the first year. That speed is a big part of why it spread so quickly once the Spanish brought it to the Philippines in the 1500s. 1800s. The biology is genuinely unique. Papaya plants come in 3 sexes: male, female, and hermaphrodite. Commercially, farmers want hermaphrodites. They don't need another plant to produce fruit, and they give the long, even shape the market prefers. Female plants produce rounder fruit and need a pollinator nearby to set at all. Here's where climate change is making things complicated. When temperatures go above 38 degrees Celsius in summer, hermaphrodite plants can flip. They stop producing female flowers and effectively become male. No female flowers, no fruit. Researchers have identified the specific genes controlling that switch, which is useful. Fixing it at scale across tropical growing regions is a different problem. The papaya ring spot virus nearly wiped out Hawaii's papaya industry in the 1990s. It came close. The solution was a GMO variety called Rainbow, which carries a fragment of the virus's own protein in its DNA, giving it immunity. That GMO crop saved the industry. It remains controversial in some markets, but the food safety record is solid. India produces 5.3 million tons annually, about 36% of the global total. The Dominican Republic and Indonesia are the next largest producers. In Thailand, unripe green papaya is the base of som tam, the spicy shredded salad that's a national staple. In India, the leaves are used to manage dengue fever symptoms. Studies in 2025 and 2026 confirmed that papaya leaf extracts help regulate blood glucose in the liver, which lines up with the traditional use. The enzyme papain, which the fruit produces naturally, shows up in commercial meat tenderizers. It breaks down protein the same way it does in your stomach. Passion fruit. The name has nothing to do with romance. It comes from 18th century Christian missionaries in Brazil who looked at the flower and saw symbols of the passion of Christ, the crown of thorns, the nails, the wounds. They named it accordingly. The romantic association came much later, probably because of how it sounds. It grows on a vine. Give it a trellis and temperatures between 20 degrees Celsius and 28 degrees Celsius, and it does well. Too cold, it stalls. Too hot, production drops. It's a narrow range. The yellow variety, used almost entirely for juice, is self-sterile. It cannot pollinate itself. It relies on large nocturnal bees or hand labor. That dependency limits where it can grow commercially and adds cost wherever it does grow. Nutritionally, the fiber content stands out. Per 100 grams, passion fruit has 10.4 grams of fiber, 42% of the recommended daily intake from one serving. It also has iron, potassium, and a calorie count higher than most fruits in this list, around 97 calories per 100 grams, largely from the fiber and sugars. Divine has a short commercial life. After 3 to 4 years, soil diseases usually force replanting. That's real overhead for producers. There's also a perception problem in North American markets. Ripe passion fruit wrinkles. Wrinkled skin means higher sugar concentration. It's a sign of peak ripeness, but consumers see a wrinkled fruit and assume it's spoiled. That misread has slowed the growth of a fresh market in the US. Brazil produces around 478,000 tons annually. Recent research is focused on Picea channel, a polyphenol found in the seeds with anti-aging and anti-diabetic properties. A 2025 study found that passion fruit pectin improved insulin sensitivity in diabetic models. In Australia and New Zealand, it goes on pavlova. In Brazil, it's in mousses, cocktails, and a traditional leaf and pulp sedative that people still use. Dragon fruit. Dragon fruit is a cactus, a climbing epiphytic cactus native to the Americas. The French brought it to Vietnam in the 19th century. Vietnam turned it into an export industry. Today, Vietnam accounts for 85% of global dragon fruit exports, about $600 million a year. Vietnamese farmers named it after how it looked: spiky, bright pink exterior, scales like a dragon. That's still the most recognizable thing about it when you see it on a shelf. The flowers only open at night, one night per flower. They emit a scent to attract bats and hawk moths. In commercial farms where those pollinators aren't reliable, workers go out after dark and hand pollinate each flower individually. That labor cost is a big reason a single dragon fruit in a US store costs $5. The plant uses a photosynthesis system called CAM metabolism, which is common in cacti. It takes in carbon dioxide at night, processes it during the day, and gets by on very little water. That's why it survives in hot, dry conditions where most fruit trees can't. As water scarcity becomes a bigger problem in more regions, That trait matters. The varieties look similar on the outside, but taste different. White-fleshed pink dragon fruit is mild and refreshing, not particularly sweet. Red-fleshed is sweeter, closer to berries in flavor. Yellow dragon fruit, white inside, is the sweetest of all, with a slightly crunchy seed texture. It's also the most expensive. The red pigment beta-cyanin is getting clinical attention. A 2025 trial found that beta-cyanins from red dragon fruit peel reduced oxidative stress and improved lipid profiles in obese participants. The oligosaccharides act as prebiotics. They feed lactobacillus and bifidobacterium in the gut, which are the bacteria most linked to digestive health. Guava. Guava has 228 milligrams of vitamin C per 100 grams. For comparison, an orange has about 53. Guava is over 4 times the recommended daily intake in a single serving. It's not a superfood in the marketing sense. It just actually has an unusual amount of one nutrient that most people don't get enough of. Archaeological evidence from Peru shows cultivation going back to at least 2500 BC. The Portuguese brought it to India in the 17th century, and India adopted it so thoroughly that it's now the second most important fruit crop in the country by production volume. The trees are low maintenance. They grow in poor soil. They handle both humid and semi-arid conditions. They can grow in pots. Smallholder farmers in the tropics grow guava without expensive inputs and still get decent yields. That's rarer than it sounds. Pink-fleshed guava contains lycopene, the same compound in tomatoes associated with heart health. The fruit also contains quercetin, a flavonoid with anti-inflammatory properties. Research in 2025 and 2026 confirmed that a specific quercetin compound in guava buds in leaves reduces diarrhea by suppressing certain neurotransmitters in the small intestine. A 2025 study found guava leaf extract helps regulate fat metabolism through oxidative stress pathways, which has implications for obesity treatment. The biggest threat to guava orchards is guava wilt, a soil-borne disease that kills established trees quickly, major problem in India and Pakistan. On the other end of the spectrum, the strawberry guava variety has become an invasive species in Hawaii, threatening over 100 native plant species. It has no natural predators there, so it just spreads. India grows around 44% of global guava output. Thailand and Mexico lead exports. Guava paste eaten with cheese is a traditional combination that shows up at almost every market. In Pakistan, it's street food. Fresh fruit with chaat masala sprinkled over it. What makes guava easy to overlook is that it's not dramatic. It doesn't have dragon fruit's visual, or mango's mythology, or pineapple's history as a luxury item. It's just a hardy fruit that grows anywhere, has an extraordinary nutrient profile, and has been feeding people for 4,500 years. That's a longer track record than most things we eat.